Good morning, everybody. Gina Diamond, conscious living strategist and author, here to share a little bit with you on this beautiful day. I hope it's gorgeous where you are. As many of you know, I help people live a more delicious life through nutrition strategies, body wisdom practices, and purposeful living. And today I want to talk a little bit about my experience working in an elementary school. So previous to that, I had volunteered many months, many years while my kid was young in the public school system. And we did some really, really incredible work there in terms of bringing in more nutrition, as this is a huge gap that I saw. Our children, and I say our children because I believe that we have a responsibility towards all of the children in the world, doing our part to help them be as healthy as they can in the ways that are meaningful to us as individuals. And when I was a volunteer in the school system, I actually set up a composting program, and that got me into the lunchroom or the kitchen area. And I began to see what many of the kids were eating. And please know, when I share this, I am not coming from a place of judgment. I am not judging parents for what they pack. It may sound like that. And that's why I wanted to bring it up, because I have so much compassion for families that are either struggling or struggling financially, struggling emotionally, or just don't have the information to be able to pack their kids or give their kids the type of nutrition that we all need. So I wanted to make that clear, first off, that I'm honestly not coming from a place of judgment. I'm coming from a place of care and concern and wanting to support and wanting to help families. So when I volunteered when my kid was young in the public school system, I had an opportunity to see what kids were eating. And this isn't just what parents are packing, it's what's served in the lunchroom. Actually, that's a bigger issue, because many of the kids that are eating what gets served in the lunchroom are things that are served to kids on the free or reduced lunch program, kids that don't really have any other choice to eat in any other way. So and the other thing that I saw often were kids being rewarded by being given candy or by having parties and that sort of thing. Now, I do believe in the whole idea of having fun, making school fun, and making it an enjoyable environment. And my question to you today is, how important is nutrition in terms of how our kids learn, in terms of how our kids behave, in terms of how they do in their own emotional experiences when they're out and about in the world? So as you probably know, I think that nutrition is extremely important, that nutrition matters. And that is one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about doing the work that I do in the world and sharing with people and inspiring them to be more conscious about all of their choices, but especially in terms of what they're feeding their own bodies and what they're feeding to their children. So because of this, because this is a passion point and because there's still work to be done in this area. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some amazing programs going on in our school systems. The garden programs that we have, where the kids are learning to garden, and the curriculum is designed around the garden, and eventually the food gets harvested and is part of what is served in the lunchroom. Amazing, amazing, amazing. There's cooking classes that are going on. There are nutrition classes going on. There are art classes going on around the garden, science classes going on around the garden. Really teaching kids, where does food come from and why does that matter? And how does your body feel different when you can go out to the garden and pick carrots and peas and tomatoes right fresh and eat it? And how does that taste differently than what you might have when you go to eat at a fast food restaurant, for example? So there's some brilliant, beautiful work being done, and our work is not over. We still need to continue. Thank you for the hearts. I'm glad people are on the same page as me. It definitely takes a village to help heal our world, for sure. And in all the ways that you're doing, I appreciate. And as you know, my goal is to inspire and enliven people to live more consciously. And so today I'm talking about nutrition. I'm talking about specifically getting nutrition into our children. And one of the things that I decided to do, so as many of you know, I published a book recently called Hidden Treasures. And it's a book that offers survival strategies for parents with picky eaters. And I was motivated to write this book because of my own picky eater, who's now a former picky eater. So I have a teenage daughter who caused me to really recreate and to be more creative and to come up with solutions that would address the picky eating situation in my family. I also had a husband at the time that was also a picky eater. So I'm very grateful for both of them because they were the inspiration for this book. They're also the inspiration for the work that I do coaching families around picky eating issues and how they can address it. And you've heard me say before, it starts in the gut. So not exclusively, there are different types of picky eaters, but one of the main issues that causes picky eating is unhealthy gut. And I've talked about what to do around that. Celery juice is one of the #1 ways that you can quickly address that issue and help get the flora gut balanced, and that it in turn affects the taste buds, etc. So I wrote this book, and what I've decided to do, and that's really what I wanted to share with you today, is that I have decided to create a fundraiser using this book, and I'm so excited about it. And the reason I want to do this is because obviously I want to get my book out there. Obviously I want to get my message out there. Obviously I want to help families. And I want to help schools fundraise. I want to create a revenue source for them so that they can have a way to create some of these additional programs that either, maybe it's bringing in a mindful program into the school. Maybe it is creating a garden program if you don't already have one. There are lots of social, emotional, physical, spiritual programs. We can't call them spiritual because if we're talking about the public school system, but connecting to the heart. And so I want to partner with schools, help get my message out, help families, and also create a revenue source for school. So that's why I've created this fundraising program. And I wanted to come on live with you today to share this for a couple reasons. If you know of any parents or grandparents or anybody that's connected to children in the school system, I could use help reaching schools, tapping them on the shoulder, asking if they want to partner with me in this meaningful way. So that's #1. #2 is that I recently created on Patreon. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, so my apologies if it's mispronounced. I want to get on Patreon, I created a donation process where people who believe in this vision as much as me want to contribute financially. So what that is going to go to or go towards is getting into schools, not necessarily for the fundraising part of it, but I teach a companion workshop and a series as well that goes hand in hand with the book to basically teach this idea that nutrition matters and it's important to have healthy and thriving children. And nutrition is one surefire way that can do that because we all eat. That's the good news, we all eat. So why not eat better? And schools are contacting me, some can pay, some can't. So I needed to get creative and I came up with a way to ask for donations. I'm going to put a link to that on this post where interested parties can go. You can do as little as $5 a month, which is awesome. I believe I call it the delectable package. Each level, there are things that you'll get for it as a thank you. So some of them you'll get my book, a signed copy of my book. Some of them you'll get different documents and things that are connected to this topic, because we all could use more nutrition, I believe, most of us. There's probably a few exceptions out there. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, my passion and why I have this passion working as a paraeducator with special ed kids and not seeing the dots connected as much as I would like between what they were eating and their challenges. And then also having that amplified from my work as a volunteer in the school system when my daughter was young. And then moving forward, asking for your participation to help me connect with schools, whether that is a school that your neighbor goes to or your child goes to, or maybe you've done some volunteer work, and to help me reach those schools that want what I have to give, which is so much knowledge in the confusing world of nutrition, right? It is confusing. A lot of people disagree, and it doesn't have to be. I don't want you to be having to repeat all of the research that I've done and the conclusions that I've come to. I've already done that for you. And so I can go into a school and give 3 to 5 or more, depending on what the school is needing, easy to implement strategies, keeping budgets in mind, that everybody can do to begin starting to improve their health and live a more delicious life. And so I'm so excited. I'm excited that schools are reaching out. I'm excited that schools are open, and with your help, I can reach more people. So I really appreciate you being here with me today. And if you're listening after the live, that's great too. Let me know how I can be of service in your communities. And I look forward to connecting soon. Take care.